It's hard to describe the feeling I had. It was just helplessness. It was all the control, everything that I had is gone. I was, put in a little waiting cell. It was cold. The jail was just so cold. I could have taken myself out of my daughter's life. All it would have taken is me hitting the gas instead of the brake. When you start and you think about it, originally you think, well, it's just me. I'm the only one. If I get behind the wheel and something happens, it's only me. But really and truly, if you're in an accident, it could affect other people. In the story that I'm going to talk about, I wasn't in an accident, but it affected way more people than I ever thought it could. November 16th, 2007, the command that I was at, had a Christmas party. When we got in, I finally walked in. I felt like a superstar. But in the meantime, I was sitting with a group of friends, and at the time I was tube-fisting, a beer in each hand. As the night came to a close there, it was about 11:30. I walked out of there and I thought about it a little bit, am I really okay? And I didn't stumble. I was walking out to my Jeep. I walked perfectly. I got on Highway 264 and I decided at that point that I was going to go down to Virginia Beach and sing a little karaoke. And in my rearview mirror, blue lights just appeared. He pulled me over and he came up to the window and asked me the normal stuff, license and registration. And he asked me if I'd been drinking the night. And I told him yes, sir, I had. I've had a few beers. That's when the cop, he said, I'm gonna need you to blow in here, and we need to do a BAC for you. Well, when I blew in there, it came up as a .14, which is almost twice the legal limit. If you could just see the expression of his face, he's like, I'm sorry, but I gotta take you in for DUI. And he's like, well, where are you coming from? And I said, command Christmas party. And he said, well, where did you command at? And I said, sir, it's not their fault. And I pulled out my keys and I showed him the Safe Ride Home card that was on my keychain. And he just shook his head. It felt like we were driving for hours to get to the police station, and it probably wasn't a 15-minute drive. As a first class, I had seen DUI cases, but I'd never been behind the scenes to see what really goes on. And I remember I walked in the shop and everyone stopped talking. Then I remember the chief came in and he says, hey, what are you doing in here? I'm like, well, this is my shop. He's like, no, you gave away your shop. You gave away everything. I disappointed my mom and my dad, my little girl, everyone at work, all of my family and friends. I was just ready to die. And I remember that I decided that I was going to end my life that night. And I called home to my mom to tell her goodbye. She didn't deserve that. I could have hurt somebody. I could have killed somebody. I could have taken myself out of my daughter's life. That's not fair to her. She deserves to have parents. She deserves to have a dad. She deserves to have a role model as a dad. Not some guy that's in prison serving a life term. There's a sailor at my command right now who's looking at, he's put himself in a serious position. His best friend was killed. His best friend. And this sailor's only, 23, 24 years old. He's got his whole life ahead of him. and he killed his best friend. I take responsibility for what I did, you know. And I didn't kill anyone, and I feel like I did. So I can only imagine what he feels like knowing that he took someone's life. I ask you, take a good look in the mirror. Please take a look in the mirror. Make the right decision. Do not get behind the wheel of that car. My little girl's out there. Other people's children are out there. All those special people that we love are still out there. Please give them the chance to come home.